I record every one, you know. On the other side of our studio, James Creedon. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Mark.
Now
Very
then,
well, thanks.
prejudice against Asians is going off the charts because of the ongoing problem with the coronavirus. 106 dead, 4,700 infected, and it's set to get worse, we are told. But that's no reason to blame the people, is it?
Well, there's a fear factor, a degree of panic, a degree of irrational sort of fear. And the virus having originated in China, there is a sense that Asians generally, Chinese people, confusion as to what nationality they may be, whether they're living in this country or traveling here or whatever, that they may be carrying the virus. You see headline. This is from the Canadian Globe and Mail. Fear over coronavirus prompts school board in Ontario to warn parents about racism against the Chinese community. Here in France, you've had the emergency services getting phone calls saying, "I ate a Chinese meal. I'm expecting a package in the post from China." So people afraid and panicked for all sorts of reasons. But then front covers such as this in the regional paper Courrier Picard, yellow alert. Now, that got a lot of criticism. People felt it was just simply a racist front cover.
Well, it's kind of
yellow race.
Inward-looking bad local journalism, isn't it, sadly?
It's certainly got a lot of criticism. And online, you've had people providing their stories of experiencing prejudice while just going about their day-to-day life. This is in the Luxembourg Gardens here in central Paris, with one person saying that he overheard, "Don't approach them. They could have the virus." So this is the warning that maybe parents were giving their children about people of Asian descent or Asians in the park. Another message I got relaying an Uber driver who had told somebody that no more Asians in my car. So this sort of thing is what we're seeing now across Paris. There's a hashtag that's been going around French social media as well, Mark. "I am not a virus, je ne suis pas un virus," and that is the message there written on that piece of paper held up by this gentleman. And many people giving their accounts, some in English, most of course in French, on using this hashtag in any case. I was on my way to work yesterday and I overheard two guys saying, "Watch out, a Chinese girl is coming our way." First of all, Vietnamese, and second of all, she's kind of telling them where to go, basically.
It plays into everybody's ignorance and
That's
panic and lack of willingness to learn about things and open up and discover. And this is the sad thing. You can understand why people don't want to get infected, but that's why they're not going to Wuhan.
That's right.
There's no reason to avoid your local Chinese restaurant or someone who's from another country in Southeast Asia. There's no sense in this at all.
That's right. A colleague was mentioning earlier a statistic that she had read. You're more likely to die of domestic violence. Your partner is more likely to kill you. A common flu is more likely to kill you. So certainly the fear factor has gone off the charts. In any case, some people saying, Mark, that coronavirus represented there by that butterfly and this franchouille have the base is sort of your basic person, that it's a sort of a pretext to be racist. In other words, it's bringing up kind of latent racism in people. That's what a lot of Asian or people of Asian descent
in some parts
feel.
of our society, you don't need any opportunities to do that or any cause or any provoking to do that. It just comes out very naturally, doesn't it? So
a lot of people of Asian descent are bothered by it, and understandably.
Okay, so if you're Chinese or from anywhere else in that part of the world, you are not a virus. That's the message we're getting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You've been looking at reactions too to Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu's news conference, where Trump is announcing his historic peace plan for the Middle East.
The hashtag deal of a century has been going around social media. That's the term used by Donald Trump. But interestingly, a lot of the comments under that hashtag are critical of the deal. For example, this by Hala Jaber: "A terrible moment in history when an impeached American president and an indicted Israeli prime minister, both responsible for much of the turmoil in the region, stand in front of the world, pontificating and pretending they're men of peace." Now,
and people applauding.
That's it.
At the news conference. I mean, clearly acolytes and supporters.
That's it.
Because you can get a group of journalists applauding that.
That's it. So clearly it was stacked with people who favour the deal. And you do have comments like this as well. It's worth pointing out, if I could locate it. We are witnessing history in the making. So there were different kinds of comments, but a lot of people really felt that it was skewed. Simple reality: when Trump and Netanyahu say Israel must have sovereignty in the Jordan Valley, this means Palestinians will be surrounded by Israel from every direction. It's not a state. It's an open-air prison. Even that very charged word, apartheid, being used. No Palestinians at the press conference. No Palestinians were invited to the White House meeting about the plan. The whole thing was designed to support the project of endless occupation. Others saying nothing about them without them. In other words, the lack of involvement by Palestinians in negotiating that is being criticised. Now, this is a quote from Mahmoud Abbas being picked up. It was relayed in the Jerusalem Post, but here is a quote that has appeared on Twitter. They called me from Washington. I did not pick up the phone. I said no, and I will continue to say no. Resistance must be escalated at all points of friction. All young people must be encouraged. So there's quite a degree of scepticism, I would say, Mark, and that's not me plucking out tweets, if you like, under that hashtag. The majority of comments are sceptical of this deal of the century, given that Palestinians weren't involved in negotiating it or elected not to be involved.
I don't think even the most severe troll online could pick you up on what you just said there completely, James. I think you're spot on. And the reaction from the Palestinians was summed up by Abbas, who said 1,000 no's had to be said about it. So there we go. We've got a lot of reporting to do on that one. James, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks